discussion study lunch ng aming power consumer organization, ang Ilaw Pilipinas. Nagsimula po ang aming mga FGD nitong nakaraang 2024 at sa pangalawang pagkakataon ay nagdaos kami ng Tourism Focus Group Discussion. Mula sa Island Garden City of Samal, sa Davao del Norte, Siargao Island sa Surigao del Norte, probinsya ng Cebu, at Puerto Galera sa Oriental Mindoro, nagtungo po ang Ilaw Pilipinas upang gumawa at magsaliksik ng impact ng blackouts at brownouts sa turismo sa mga nasabing lugar sa ating bansa. Layunin po ng Ilaw na ipag-ibayuhin ang information dissemination ukol sa mga power issues sa bansa at kasama po dito ang hinaing ng ating sektor sa turismo ukol sa lumalalang issue ng kuryente sa Pilipinas. Sa paglungsad ng aming Tourism FGD output, naway maging mas malapit tayo sa pagkamit ng mas maliwanag na Pilipinas para sa ating lahat. Kasama din po natin virtually ang mga representatives at regional directors from the Department of Tourism. At nais po namin sanang magpasalamat kay Assistant Secretary Judeline Tiatchon sa pagpapaunlak ng aming imbitasyon. So babasahin ko lang din po i-acknowledge ang ating mga representatives and regional directors from the Department of Tourism o DOT. So kasama po natin virtually sa Zoom si OA Sec TRCC Luigi Delica, from DOT-4B Faye Reyes, from DOT-7 Assistant Regional Director Helena Asis Dimpas, DOT Region 11 Mara Luis Balingao, and DOT Region 13 Assistant Regional Director Tiara Julia Santos. In person here with us as well is Ms. Manette T. Reyes, Chief Tourism Operations Officer. Magandang umaga po. We also have Sir Ryan R. Carlos, Supervising Tourism Operations Officer. And finally, we have Ms. Faye Reyes from DOT Mimaropa. Malugod naming ipinakikilala ngayong umaga naman po ang aming National Convener, si Ms. Agnes Beng Reyes Garcia mula sa lungsod ng Baguio. Si Ms. Beng ay batikan na sa issue ng MCO sa Baguio City at sa Benguet at ikinagagalak ng aming organisasyon ang pagkakaroon ng National Convener na magsisilbing pangunahing tagapamahala. Upang magbigay ng kanyang opening statement para sa ating FGD output launch, let's give a warm round of applause for Ilaw Pilipinas National Convener, Ms. Beng Garcia.
Maraming salamat, Francine, at maraming salamat po sa ating mga kaibigan mula sa Department of Tourism, ang ating mga representatives from the media, at talagang ikinalulugod po namin ang inyong pagdalo sa aming focus group discussion launch for today. So, marami po kaming nabisita, mga probinsya sa Samal, sa Island Garden of sa Samal, sa Siargao, sa Cebu at sa Puerto Galera, at talaga namang makikita natin na marami tayong makikita muling mga datos tungkol sa ating mga problema ukol sa brownout. Actually, sa Baguio ngayon ay buong araw silang naka-brownout dahil sa NGCP, and that's going to be from 5 a.m. to 6 p.m. And this is really something that we would want to continue pressing as we bring attention to this issue, as we have come from our focus group discussion on the effect of blackouts on businesses. So today we'll find out more about tourism. And it seems like these are things that we normally go through. It occurs almost every day na hindi na natin halos napapansin, tinitiis natin. But we're going to find out more about the issues of our fellow Filipinos in the different islands that are really being impacted in the tourism sector. And we thank you so much for being here this morning so that we can continue to really raise this issue to our government and to those who continue to be able to help us. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you also, Ms. Beng, for being here at sa pagpapaunlak ng ating programa ngayong araw. Gaya ng sabi ni Ms. Beng, magbibigay daan ang FGD o ang study na nilungsad namin bunga ng FGD para mapabuti ang mga inisyatiba ng enerhiya sa Pilipinas na makakatulong hindi lamang sa turismo at negosyo ng bansa, kundi pati na rin sa lahat ng consumer. Ang aming pong Tourism FGD output ay bunga sa pagtutulungan at pakikinig. At sa dakong ito ng ating programa, nais din namin bigyan ng acknowledgement ng ating DOT Secretary, si Ms. Cristina Garcia Frasco. Maraming salamat po sa pagdalo sa aming FGD launch. Ngayon naman po ay papakita namin sa ating programa ang paglalahad ng aming mga key findings at recommendations. Pero bago po lahat, simulan po natin sa study background and scope ng aming Tourism FGD output. So para sa mga katanungan, magkakaroon po tayo ng panel discussion mamaya pagkatapos ng ating diskusyon tungkol sa aming results. So maraming salamat po sa pakikinig at simulan na po natin ang study background and scope ng ating FGD study. So, ang gusto po namin or thesis statement po namin is how do businesses cope with the current energy situation within the Philippines? So part of that is, one of the data that we've gathered is that about 74.29% of respondents, so these are the people that we were able to talk with, the people we were able to converse with and gather for our FGD outputs, lose about 10,000 to 30,000 pesos per day. So this is just an average amount that we were able to gather. For some localities, they were losing from 5,000 to 100,000 per day, depending on the location or the area. So large businesses, as I've shared here, are losing around 100,000 in a single day of operation. And without electricity, some businesses are forced to stop operations entirely, mainly because their operations are dependent on electricity or power generation. So this requires our businesses within the Philippines, especially in tourism-heavy areas, to implement cost-cutting measures. So what does this mean? Cost-cutting measures looks like reducing our staff, laying off people, cutting down inventory, and or limiting operational hours. So one of the things that we were able to also recognize throughout that FGD across 4 tourism areas is that what is the impact of power outages, blackouts, and brownouts on our tourism sector, and how does it manifest in terms of impact? So we have here actually a quote, and to really highlight how tourism is important to the Philippines, as we already know as Filipinos, but cementing it further, it's the largest generator of well-being and employment in the world. And it employs a lot of Filipinos across the 4 key areas that we were able to do our study output. So, what we were able to underscore here is that with the rise of tourism, especially in islands like Siargao, in core tourism areas like Cebu, is that there is a demand for energy, mainly because energy is necessary in providing services and enhancing the visitor experience. So one of that including is accommodations, their food, which is very dependent on how strong their electricity supply is. So here's a snapshot of how crucial tourism is in the Philippines. So it's just a quick rundown because I'm sure a lot of us here have witnessed the key role that tourism plays in the Philippines. So about 8.6% of our country's gross domestic product is dependent on tourism. And when it looks in terms of when it's converted in Philippine peso, it's a 760 billion pesos in terms of revenue from tourist expenditures. So whenever they spend in their tourist areas, whenever they try to purchase something, it also counts towards our tourism expenditure. And about 16.4 million Filipinos are employed because of this industry. And this looks like about 5.9 million people visiting our islands, visiting the places that we outlined earlier, such as the island garden city of Samal, Puerto Galera in Oriental Mindoro, Cebu, and Siargao in Surigao del Norte. And actually, the Philippines has one of the largest domestic tourism market within the ASEAN region and Timor-Leste. So that's how crucial tourism is for us Filipinos and also for the market that we have. So throughout our FGD outputs, as I've shared earlier, we have 4 key areas that we've underscored, mostly from Southern Luzon, Visayas, and then Mindanao. And we were able to pull in about 43 participants across various sectors of the tourism industry. We have retail, government, food and beverage, hotel, and accommodations. And this ranges in size. So from the first FGD output, we already discussed what are the parameters and size of like micro enterprises, small businesses, medium-sized, and large companies. And we also applied it here as we looked into the 43 participants and how they represent the different industries that they have. So our objectives for this FGD output are already shared earlier, but reiterating it back is that we want to have a concrete data or concrete set of statistics with which to inform our local governments, our national government, and other key stakeholders and decision makers on how the energy or power situation in the Philippines directly affects our tourism industry and thereby affects the average Filipino. And also generate statistics that serve as basis for MSME identification or micro, small, and medium enterprises. While also, aside from just collecting data, we're also keen on providing grassroots-based, community-driven recommendations or solutions that will better inform our stakeholders what it is needed at the ground and what they would like our stakeholders to do. So what we did is we did mixed form of methods wherein we did qualitative assessment through FGD or focus group discussions, and then we evaluated the data that was gathered. We have already a structured format, so this has been a format that we've been using since our first FGD regarding economy or businesses. And then we also applied it here in the tourism FGD, but we tweak a few questions po to make it more contextualized to our audience or our participants. So in the limitations of our study or in what we are presenting today, we would like to address that we selected the 4 locations based on the number of tourist arrivals, the energy situation based on our social media scans. So you would see in the link to the paper that we will be sharing that there are specific scans that we were able to see on a specific period. So there were more areas that had more complaints, or we would say more visibility on social media because of the power situation compared to others. So baka po maging tanong, bakit hindi kasama ang Baguio? Bakit hindi kasama ang Bohol, etc.? So it's not po that we chose based on preference, but mainly because of the data that we've seen on social media and our community as well with what they've been reporting to our page. So we would also like to reiterate before we proceed that most of the data here, these are self-reported data. So these are from our participants, kung ano po yung sinishare nila during the discussions, and we also do cross-check it after. So for participant demographics, we have about micro enterprises, small businesses, and medium-sized companies and large companies. So just reiterating the data that we've shared before, followed after by the metrics for the FGD area. So as I've shared, there are specific reasons bakit po Siargao, bakit Cebu, bakit Samal, and among these are the reasons that we've chosen. So as we could see here, there were so many mentions of power outage, especially for Siargao during last year. And then there were also mentions here of like how many are the international arrivals compared to the domestic arrivals. So you would see here po, in Samal, Siargao, and Cebu City, halos magkakalapit lang po yung domestic and international arrivals, except for Samal na mas mataas po yung domestic. However, if you would see po Puerto Galera, mas mataas po ang international arrivals, which we've seen po when we were there just last month na mas marami po talaga ang foreign visitors compared to domestic visitors. So here are the peak months of tourism for each place. So for Island Garden City of Samal, it's mainly more active in June and December. So medyo malayo-layo pa po tayo, mga 3 months pa po bago mas maging booming ang kanilang tourism industry. For Siargao, it's happening right now, March, kasi summer season. Of course, there's a surfing season as well. And then November and December. For Cebu, it's January because of Sinulog. Then we have April and December. And finally po for Puerto Galera, it's more March and April. So what we've noticed there po when we went is that medyo matumal po yung tourism kasi January, February pa siya. Pero they're expecting an influx of visitors once it's March and April. So, with regards to key findings po, I'll be passing it or handing it over to Ms. Ben to share more on the technicalities of what we were able to find and assess.
Alright, so thank you so much, Francine. And now that we have a background or an introduction on our FGD output, dadako na po tayo sa key findings per area at sisimulan natin dito sa Island Garden City of Samal. Then we'll go to Siargao, Cebu, and then Puerto Galera. Matapos nito, at para sa kaalaman ng lahat, ang recommendations ng nasabing output ay ipapaliwanag namin conveners para sa mga lokal na pamahalaan, negosyo, at sa national government. So we'll start with Samal. Okay, so basically we've also done interviews of our residents of the various places that we went to para naman meron talaga tayong on-the-ground information from some of our residents. So, isa si Dave, who was a member of the Tuk Tuk Drivers Association, at talagang sinasabi nga niya na kulang talaga ang supply ng kuryente, pangit ang serbisyo, at laging nasisira ang mga gamit at appliances ng mga residente. Ito ang hinaing ng Tuk Tuk Drivers Association sa Island Garden City of Samal. And they added na nakakarinig sila ng mga reklamo mula sa mga turista dahil sa brownout na umaabot ng hanggang 6 na oras sa kanilang lalawigan. So here we go. Ang key findings natin. So the average electricity cost of MSMEs, umaabot sila ng 18,000 and average losses nila per day is 27,000. So ito yung kanilang electricity cost. That's how much they spend to pay for their electricity. Pero kung sa mga nawawalang pera nila, umaabot siya ng 27K and that's per day. So definitely the range of losses, as Francine mentioned, nag-uumpisa siya ng 10,000 to a high of 100,000. And from the brownouts or the blackouts that happened. And these losses are substantial to their electricity cost per month, especially for resorts and hotels. Si Mayor Al David Uy, sinabi din niya na the city had been losing up to 15 million annually in the tourism sector alone due to power issues. So sa kuryente pa lang, 15 million lang nawawala sa kanila taon-taon. 50 million. And this becomes an even more pressing issue with the anticipated demand for electricity from the upcoming Davao-Samal Bridge project. So yung Davao-Samal Bridge project, it's still being constructed. It's actually been ongoing for the last couple of years, and people are excited kasi nga it's going to cut the transportation to Samal from Davao from 30 minutes to mga 5 minutes na lang. But of course, what this also means is that with more people coming into Samal, mas lalong tataas ang kanilang demand for electricity, which currently is already so insufficient. The Northern Davao Electric Cooperative, or NORDECO, has been criticized for its poor service. Currently, there's actually a petition to actually have them replaced already. So business owners report slow response times. Whenever they complain about their blackouts, they either get no response or very slow response to it. There's a lack of accountability na kapag dinadaing nila yung kanilang mga blackouts or mga brownouts, parang nagkikibit-balikat na lang ang EC, and they're also saying na, well, there's really very little we can do currently. And there's no compensation for losses caused by power outages. So yung nawawalang pera ng ating mga kapwa Pilipino sa tourism industry or even the residents, pag nasira ang kanilang appliances, sorry na lang, pasensya na lang tayo, ganun talaga yan. Usually that's what they hear. And sa laki ng nawawala nilang pera, sa laki ng binabayaran nilang kuryente, hindi naman ito bumabalik sa kanila in any way, shape, or form at this time. So here in the IGACO's or EC services, we'll see that the ratings, the way the residents or the participants in the FGD have actually rated them, karamihan sa mga participants are actually saying na, well, you know, they're still okay. With very generous pa rin yung kanilang pag-rate, where 5 of them are actually saying na, sige, okay pa rin naman ang performance nila considering the many challenges that we have here in Samal. There's one who really said na, no, it's really bad. Okay, we're really not happy with the services. 2 of them, and then 3 are somehow in the middle. So with 10 being the highest, participants gave the Northern Davao Electric Cooperative an average rating of 2.45. So napaka-baba considering 2 participants, as we said, rated the Nordeco a dismal 1, while 3 rated it 2, 5 rated it 3, and 1 rated it 4, and no ratings exceeded 4 at all. So Nordeco's strict payment policies have also drawn a lot of anger from the people kasi nga, regardless of how many brownouts or blackouts the individuals suffer or the residents suffer, hindi pa rin sila talaga napapawalan dun sa disconnection. So, we're not able to provide you the good service, but we will still come and disconnect your services when you fail to pay your electric bills in a month. Businesses are questioning the fairness of the cooperative's approach given the unreliable service. And so one of their heart cries is, sana naman meet us halfway. If you're not able to provide really consistent energy or electricity, masyadong maraming blackouts and brownouts, sana naman medyo pagbigyan nyo naman kami kung hindi kami nakakabayad. So at least do not disconnect us right away. So